Welcome to the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Podcast. I want you to be rich. Yes, I want abundant financial success for your business. But I don't just care about your business making money. I care about you too. I want you to be rich in happiness, in the impact you make, in your relationships, and in how you give back. I'm Anna. I built my six-figure business as a side hustle while I was pregnant with my daughter in 2016. Now I've helped dozens of women do the same. I'm here to help you build a profitable, heart-centered, fully booked business with the latest tips on sales and visibility, with proven mindset hacks, and sneak peeks behind the scenes with what's working right now in the online space and in my business. Ready to make more money with heart? Let's go. Hi friends, I wrote a little book for you. I wrote the story of the season of quitting my job, and I don't think I've actually quite told this before, and it was one of the most tumultuous times. Well, number one, I was pregnant and I had my toddler, but really starting my business was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And really it almost reminds me of like going from not being a mom to being a mom to one child was way harder for me than going from one to two children, just because it was so new. I'd never been a mom before. And same thing with owning a business. I really had never received massive amounts of money for doing something that made me happy. Like, it was bizarre. So I wrote these little excerpts, about 12 chapters, to hopefully just inspire you and make you feel normal. I think it's so easy to feel wild, like there's something wrong with us as we start business, but the truth is that it is very intense emotionally. And that's because you're doing a lot of things for the first time. You're getting visible and showing your face and taking up space and, wondering what your in-laws are going to think about you posting online. And, how does it feel to accept money for doing something you love, like I talked about. So I just want to normalize that if it feels intense at the beginning, it's normal. It's almost like the rite of passage for starting a business, and why statistically, so many businesses do not make it, because it is new. And if you are in it, I hope that this is comforting and assuring to you, whether you are starting your business for the first time or whether you are starting a new era, starting a new income stream, starting something new, a new way of being visible, setting higher income goals. I hope that this is comforting and assuring. I'm going to mark it as 12 little chapters just so you can keep pace with it. I hope that as you listen to this, you just close your eyes and relax and enjoy this story, and I hope it resonates. Chapter 1. As I prepared to leave my job, I never expected a 10K month overnight. I'm an ambitious but level-headed girl, a realist, practical, empowered, maybe sometimes a little too self-reliant, a little bit of a safety freak with a side of trust issues. Reminder, you don't have to be perfect or resolve all of your issues or have a perfect money mindset to start your business. I wanted to sign a handful of clients, and I needed steady income, not high income, just steady income. 2K months to start, then maybe moving to 4K, and then maybe growing from there. Chapter 2. Even though it was less than what I was making in my day job, to have that 2K on the side felt like so much cash and a tangible promise that I could increase it over time. Honestly, the slow growth, it felt safer. It felt aligned. I wanted to feel like what it felt like to make $1,000 on my own, to take that money in without it going through the front office reception, all the levels of the 3-story office building where I worked, and then out through my paycheck. Just to take in that raw $1,000 cash. I needed to know what it felt like in my body. I wouldn't have said that, but that is what my body was saying. To serve someone, a stranger, for $1,000 and make them happy, and for me to like it. I knew that as a therapist, it wasn't my job to make someone happy, but what I meant is, in my coaching, I wanted to do my craft and get them further, stronger, healed, moving ahead in their path and journey as a woman. I wanted them to be satisfied with the time and money and energy they spent in my support. I wanted to do a good job for us both. Chapter 3. Like I said, my first goal was consistent 2K months. I don't know if 2K sounds big or like a baby step to you, but it sure did not feel like a baby step to me. It felt like a baby learning to walk for the first time. 2K a month might as well have been 20K a month because it felt nearly impossible to make that amount on my own, doing something I loved and something I would basically do even if I wasn't paid for it. But it was a baby step, and I needed the baby step. I needed the energetic space for transition. What made it feel impossible is nobody in my immediate world had done it, so it felt a little mystical. But it felt right. There was something in me that knew this felt right. And I knew my success was inevitable. I just needed the universe to be patient with me as I did this brave new scary thing to me. Even if thousands of women before me had done it, could I also do what they had done? Chapter 4. It used to feel so risky to leave my job, to leave the consistent paycheck when I was the breadwinner, to leave the medical benefits, to leave the retirement plan, to leave the promises of raises and promotions that I'd worked so hard for. Could it get better on my own? Was I selfish for wanting more? Was it worth the risk of letting go of something good for something great? I had this inner feeling, though, that I've only had a few times in my life that there was something there. As I started to research and plan and build and take action to sign coaching clients, my hopes started to grow. And so did my inner knowing that it was the right path, even though it felt like starting from square one. That intuitive knowing began to override the need for what felt like day job security. Was I the magic in my job, and could I keep that on my own? Somehow the business risk started to feel like the safest thing. Somehow staying in the 9 to 5 felt like a slow fade away from what I needed and wanted and would provide me and my family security in this next chapter. It was letting me go. And I was sad, but it felt right. Chapter 5. I swore I'd never let my kids eat in the back of the Tesla. And then there we were, late to school, and they hadn't eaten breakfast. So I've also swore I would never call myself a coach. I wanted to be excellent, of high integrity, and it felt like that label was fluffy and fake and everything not me. So back then I started coaching and getting paid for it, but calling it mentoring because that felt right. And I'm not mad at myself for the training wheels, as that's what eased me into realizing that if something felt off, I didn't have to avoid it. I could redefine it. I did this with selling too. I decided I didn't want to sell. I wanted to invite. I didn't want to ask people for their credit card on the phone or tell them they were doomed if they didn't hire me. No weird stuff, just helping them make their best decision and inviting them to work with me. Chapter 6. I love helping newbies. I love helping women break through in an era that statistically most women in business never break out of. And also because I remember being one and I hated it. I almost quit, stuck in the swirl of overthinking, downloading freebies, unsure of my message, nervous to get visible, 2 steps forward, 4 steps back, feeling judged by my peers. It felt like so much. Wanting to make the right decisions and not waste time, but also realizing that staying paralyzed and indecision was wasting time. Getting out of that season and signing my first few clients, starting to create cash flow, honestly felt like the biggest breath of oxygen. And I felt like I'd been stuck underwater trying to find my way for so long. On the way to that consistent 2 to 4K months, honestly, I think is one of the hardest chapters of business or any 2 to 4K of any new income stream. But once I got through that, I really felt unstoppable. Even though I had had success in other areas of my life, it started feeling safe to own that I'm a newbie. I'm learning. There's nothing wrong with me for that. In fact, if I can drop my ego and learn and try and not judge myself, I think it makes it my strength. Chapter 7. I would have never made it through my first year of business without a coach. I tried the first 90 days alone. I was spinning my wheels and burning out. I was a grown, independent, professional, successful woman, but shockingly growing my business brought me to my knees. My coach held my hand every step of the way. As an independent woman, admitting that I needed major help, learning things like marketing, selling, mindset around making money, it humbled me. I really did need support and loving accountability. And getting it was way cozier and gentler than I thought. And it was such a good lesson because as my business grew, I realized I only needed more support. A housekeeper, a babysitter, a virtual assistant, a personal assistant, an OBM, a bookkeeper, an accountant, just more and more letting go, more and more trusting, more and more investing so I could make more money back. More support is hard to accept. But once I opened my arms and trusted, it felt so good. And it's one of the biggest things I credit my business success to. Being willing to hire and accept support so I can do what I do in the smoothest, easiest way, shortest time possible, staying in my zone of genius, loving my business, loving my life. Chapter 8. My business didn't ask me to sacrifice in the way I thought she would. She didn't ask for endless hours. She didn't ask for me to work so hard that I burnt out. She didn't ask for me to take more time away from my kids. She asked me what's important to me, and I said, my family, part-time flexible hours, getting paid well, working with clients so I can get great results, feeling fulfilled by my work. And you know what she said back? What are you willing to release? Are you willing to look silly? Are you willing to try new things? Are you willing to fail on the way to success? Are you willing to do it imperfect? Are you willing to surrender control? She asked for my willingness. She asked for me to surrender my ego. She asked for me to surrender my timeline. She asked for me to be brave, to use my voice. She asked for me to accept money for doing what I loved. Surrendering felt like letting go in an ocean storm, falling beneath the surface and finding the calm. It was calm down there. It was safe to let go. It was safe to go all in. I'm so glad I let the waves carry me and I stopped fighting them. Chapter 9. I remember all my business firsts like it was yesterday. The first time on Facebook Live, and I purposely did it in someone else's Facebook group where no one would see it, and I ended it after 3 minutes. The first time I sold out my group coaching program and I took my family out for hibachi and my toddler had eyes wide open at the fire in front of us. The first time I launched a course and it didn't go as good as I'd hoped and I cried my heart out in the shower. The first time someone paid me in full for coaching, $1,000 dropped in my account. What? This is wild. The first time someone got fully booked with my support, tears. Just as special as my other big wins. Like the first time I took a client from scratch to her first 6 figures, I was speechless. And that was just as special as the time that I supported a client from making a few $1,000s a month to crossing her first million, divinity. But really, the firsts have been so special. The first time I had a post with 100 comments and it felt like there was momentum starting, a heart-centered movement. It was an era of ups and downs, and just like a new relationship, thrilling, but also tiring. Everything felt new, and it was good, but it was hard. Chapter 10. You might see that I have an amazing, vibrant community, truly incredible clients, a best-selling book, a high-ranking podcast, crossed the $1 million mark. But what you don't see is that I almost did not get here. Truly, after the first 3 months of trying to do it alone, I was almost ready to give up, throw in the towel, frustrated, unsure why my posts weren't getting traction, unsure why people weren't buying. I didn't quite come to the end of my dream, but I felt like I came to the end of me and doing it alone. When I made my first business investment, it felt like the biggest leap of faith, but I still wanted to take it slow. The first payment I ever made to my coach was $300, and it's why I charged less than that for the first month of my program. In an era of unpredictability and when my business was not making much money, I needed stair steps. I needed small leaps of faith. No leap in the net will appear type of stuff. I knew I needed support from regulation. And I get that it takes courage to invest, and that's why I will never ask you to do something I'm not willing to do myself. Chapter 11. After a few months of traction in my business, I had evidence it was working, and I was ready to leave my job behind, swapping that real office for a virtual office, leaving behind my framed certificates, but taking my training in my heart. I told my boss through tears I was leaving. She was my hero. I just landed the assistant director position of the counseling center, and I was loving my job. I would sometimes bring my 1-year-old in the baby carrier for team meetings to office, and it was just the biggest blessing of a job in that era. It felt like my client work was fulfilling too. It felt like the private work I did with them was something more profound than I'd ever experienced. I remember light pouring in from my floored office ceiling windows. It was a space small, so small I almost touched knees with my clients, but it really felt like this light-filled magic room, a castle for their healing, their breakthroughs. Soft tears would roll down my cheeks as I watched them break through and release decades of challenges and trauma and weight. I loved my job, but what I realized after spending a decade in corporate is that it really isn't as secure as it's cooked up to be, that you don't have control over your work or your mission. Everyone considered me to have massive growth in my time, and still, that is near where my income would have plateaued for the next 30 years. Income in business literally compounds. After a few years, as you grow a team, as you grow systems, you literally are making money without actually working. I'm a big fan of working. I love to work. I love doing coaching. It's aligned to me, but I also know that I'm a sensitive woman. I'm an imperfect woman. My family is my priority. So having a business that gives me the option to bring in money in a way that isn't super dependent on me all the time is the biggest gift. And this is why it was okay for me to start making 2K. And that was enough because for me, it felt like evidence of 20K. If I could sign 5 clients, I knew I could sign more. The evidence was there. Literally, the sky was the limit. And I knew that in business, work compounds just like an investment in the stock market. Chapter 12. I nearly take for granted that I'm living the magic, that I'm living my one stream, that I get to sit down to work a few days a week for a few hours a day with clients I love. There's no drama. I get to show up. I do my craft. I get paid $500 to $1,500 an hour for doing coaching from home. I get to take breaks to walk on my treadmill in the backyard. I get to make a long lunch. I get to take a nap. I get to take a long shower. I can sit at the beach. I get to take private dance classes during the day or go to yoga early in the morning. I get to ease into my work day, having slow mornings, taking my vitamins, making a savory breakfast. After work, I pick up my kids from school feeling energized and excited to see them. This is my dream life. I used to feel guilty about it because I'd see other women in jets going to other countries, and my success just looks different. Simple, peaceful, drama-free, filled with love, filled with friends, listening to my body, listening to my heart, margin, and rest. That was it. Thank you so much for taking a short amount of time to listen to this beautiful little audiobook that I wrote for you. And I hope it captured some of the early era of business. I know that now that I've been in business for 8 years, I don't talk about it as much. I really talk about where I'm at now with like group programs and multi-six figures and all of that. And if you are a newbie or if you are new in an income stream, I just want to remind you that like, I get where you're at and it sucks, right? It's hard, but you can do it and it's so worth it. And I really hope that that inspired you. I'd love if you want to hit reply and email me or send me an Instagram message with what most stood out to you from my story. Was there anything that was most impactful? I hope that that was useful for you. I know it was a little different take on the podcast. I also would love to invite you, if you are in that era, you're exactly who I designed my Get and Coach program for. It is my 12-week program that will help you sign paying clients in your business and really boost out of this era. It really is 90 days of support because I really see that that's the time it takes my clients to sign paying clients. It really takes 90 days to really master your marketing and really get out there. And I want to help you. I want to give you these 12 steps. I have so many client stories that I've used the Get and Coach method with so much quick success, that have signed 5 clients, 12 clients, that have had 30, 40K launches in these 90 days. Or again, maybe like you, like me, it was consistent 2K months, starting to make 2K months and really build that evidence. Whatever is for you, I would love to support you with, live Zoom calls, live worksheet reviews, live Slack channel, and really give you clear steps to market your coaching business and sign paying clients. We also talk about sustaining a coaching business and making clients happy by, coaching theory, coaching skills, and a lot of procedures around how to lead a coaching business, what to do if your client doesn't pay, what to do if your client is having a challenge. So I really want to help you sign clients, but also serve them with lots of heart and lots of integrity. So please sign up for a free 10-minute clarity call with me personally if you have any questions about getting support in this era of business of really getting to 2 to 3K consistent months in your coaching revenue stream. I would be my honor to support you. Thanks for hanging out today. Please hit that subscribe button so you can make sure to stay updated anytime a new episode drops. And I would love for you to join me in my free Facebook community. It's called The Heart-Centered Entrepreneur. We discuss the podcast episodes. I regularly go live and do free trainings. And you may even meet your newest biz bestie. So you can join at heartcenteredcommunity.com. It's absolutely free, and I cannot wait to see you in there.